Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2016, around 5:11 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. Looks like it's going to start snowing any minute now. It's supposed to be a winter weather advisory, 1 to 3 inches, then changing over to freezing rain, ice, then rain. Temperatures are going to be about freezing tonight, but tomorrow it's going to shoot up there to the 50s and going to have heavy rain. If this was last year, we were talking about a major blizzard, but it's El Niño's taking over, and it's not good for the ski resorts. But maybe next year we'll get hit by snow. Some news to report: Grizzly center Mark Gasol's going to miss the rest of the season with surgery on his foot. And Cliff Lee, pitcher, who's last pitched in the major leagues in 2014, is going to announce his retirement. Cliff Lee has a bum elbow, and he's never going to pitch again. He had a decent career, but it's not Hall of Fame worthy. And outfielder first baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays, Jose Bautista, is going to be a free agent at the end of this season. He wants $150 million from the Blue Jays, but Bautista's in his mid-30s, and I don't think the Blue Jays are going to give that kind of money to somebody who's supposed to be on the downside of his career. And the reality television series Divorce Court has been renewed into the 2018-2019 season. Whoopie-doo. And that's about it on news. My second video blog subject of the day is about Vince McMahon's steroid trial in 1994. Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWE, was indicted, and he was brought up on to distribute steroids, and it was one of the dark moments in the history of the WWE, and Vince McMahon was acquitted. But here's the story of how this started. Back in the 80s, when the WWE expanded, they got all top stars from the regional territories, and they went to the WWE, and a lot of them were muscle. They had big muscles, and they were using anabolic steroids. At this time, anabolic steroids were legal in the United States. The big boom period of the WWE was from 1984 through 1989, so most of the time it was legal to use steroids, and a lot of them were using it. Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, the British Bulldogs, and so many others were using steroids, including Vince McMahon himself. He says he's experimented with steroids. And eventually, all of the people who had steroids, big muscles, Randy Savage used them. But in January of 1989, steroids became illegal in the United States to have, unless if it was prescribed by a doctor. And in the middle of 1989, in New Jersey, Vince McMahon had to tell the state athletic commission about wrestling that it was staged so they could avoid taxes and drug testing. And this is when it started with the accusation of steroids. Several former professional wrestlers, including several former WWE superstars, including superstar Billy Graham, Bruno Sammartino, Billy Jack Haynes, and Dr. D. David Schultz, was saying that steroids were out of control in the WWE. Superstar Billy Graham said he was a steroid abuser for so many years, and it cost him to be steroid. Both of his knees were shot, and hips were shot. He had numerous knee replacement surgeries, and hip surgeries, and ankle surgeries, and also Dr. D. David Schultz was saying it was no good. Bruno Sammartino was the worst of them all. He said that he did not want to be associated with wrestlers who did steroids. His son David Sammartino actually did steroids as well. And they had a strained relationship. Bruno Sammartino did not use any steroids. And Billy Jack Kane said that he even said Hulk Hogan used them. And there also, at many WWE TV tapings in the early to mid-80s, there was a doctor named Dr. George Zenio that in 1991, he was convicted of distributing steroids to WWE wrestlers when they had TV tapings in Pennsylvania. But this continues to go on through the rest of 1991 and 1992. The WWE steroid scandal was on several tabloid talk shows, and the same wrestlers were even mentioning Hulk Hogan was on doing steroids, and Macho Man, all the others. Vince McMahon had to do something about it, and he says he was going to have mandatory drug testing for all WWE superstars. But a lot of the critics says it was a joke, this steroid testing. There were only a few wrestlers who flunked a steroid test, including Psycho Sid Vicious, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, the Ultimate Warrior, and Shawn Michaels were the only ones to publicly flunk a steroid test. Shawn Michaels claims he never took steroids, it was slipped in his drink when he was out at the bars, but Vince had to make an example for him and suspend him. And also, the WWE was being investigated by the FBI because of the steroid stuff. Hulk Hogan had to leave the WWE for a year because all of these scandals to break off. But the federal government was looking for one man in particular, the guy who owns the WWE, Vince McMahon. A lot of wrestlers were like being questioned by the government and the FBI, saying about steroids, and including Tito Santana, Bret the Hitman Hart, and so many others. In November of 1993, Vince McMahon was indicted for distribution of steroids. And if he was convicted, he would have spent 5 to 10 years in jail, and the WWE would probably be out of business. And this was probably the darkest moment in professional wrestling history, and this is when the business in the WWE was tanking. All the wrestlers, all the steroid guys from the past were gone, and they were smaller wrestlers. The WWE was pushing smaller wrestlers at the time, except Yokozuna. And Vince McMahon still doing commentary and still producing the shows. And he had a miss King of the Ring in 1994 because of a neck injury. He needed neck surgery and to get prepared for the trial. Gorilla Monsoon and Jim Ross had to take his place on Superstars and Raw and the pay-per-views. And this trial started in July of 1994. And there were several witnesses who testified for Vince McMahon, against Vince McMahon, including Big John Studd over the phone because he was sick. They had Tom Zink, Ravishing Rick Rude, and so many others. Some were saying that Vince McMahon told them to use steroids. Others didn't. Kevin Walsh Cuddy, who was Nails, who attacked Vince McMahon in a backstage of a TV taping in December of 1992, said Vince McMahon told him to use steroids and he hates his guts and stuff, hates his balls. But that testimony was not credible. And there was a star witness. It was Hulk Hogan, who was 5-time WWE champion during the glory days of the WWE. And he testified, he says, Vince McMahon never told him to use steroids once, and he also said that Vince McMahon never distributed any steroids to any wrestlers. A lot of people were saying that with Hogan's testimony, it could have broke or got Vince acquitted, and that got Vince acquitted on July 22nd, 1994. Vince was a free man, and all of the steroid charges against him were cleared. And this was the darkest period of professional wrestling because it could have killed the WWE. And I think Vince McMahon never told any of his wrestlers to use steroids, or he never distributed them, I think. I don't think he did. And this was probably something the federal government wanted to try to make an example for Vince McMahon. The time that this was supposedly taking place was like the big boom period from 1984 to 1989, which most of that time steroids were legal in the United States, so they should have never even press charges on Vince because it was legal before 1989. And that's about it on that. I'll be back with the third and final video blog of the night, which will be about the Belly Buster Diner in Billerica, Massachusetts. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Brennan guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCO rocks and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart, so stunning. And Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has sweet southern accent. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out! See you later. Bye now.